A new study this week published in the Journal of Advances in Atmospheric Science shows that in the year 2021, the oceans across the planet reached their hottest level in recorded history. No other time in the history of temperature taking did the oceans get as warm as they got in the year 2021. And of course, the study says this is a direct result of anthropogenic climate change and greenhouse gas emissions, which means man-made climate change. That is what is happening, and of course it is warming the oceans. Let me read this. Since the 1980s, oceans have been warming 8 times faster than they did during the preceding decades, and 2021 marked the 3rd consecutive year in which the previous record for annual energy absorption was shattered. These trends, the paper makes clear, are due to an increase in anthropogenic greenhouse gas concentrations. On top of that, a recent study that came out last week showed that the last 7 years in our atmosphere have been the hottest on record. So the planet is warming, the oceans are warming, that is undeniable. They're warming at rates that should be alarming to everyone who knows what that means. And here we are, as a species, because this is a global issue, doing effectively nothing about it. And I know a lot of people are going to jump in and be like, no, fair, in the COP26 they just had, they all pledged we're going to reduce these things. Sure, I know that they did. I also know this. Before and during the recent COP26 climate summit, many governments pledged to reduce planet heating pollution in the coming years, but new data showing a steady increase in greenhouse gas emissions and atmospheric concentrations reveals that empty promises won't be enough to avert the climate emergency's most catastrophic consequences. So in spite of the pledges, in spite of the fact that we now here in the United States have a president who accepts the science of climate change, we are still, as a people, as a species, as a planet, not actually doing any of the things we're pledging to do. And in the few areas around the globe where they are doing the things they need to do, we're offsetting it in countries just like the United States by increasing the number of offshore oil rigs. We're doubling down on fossil fuels here at a time when we should be basically kicking the habit. Okay, we should be coming down off of that addiction by this point. This is not new. We're not just now learning about climate change, folks. It has been over 3 years now. It was 2018. Remember that? We got that report that said we only have 12 years to act before the worst effects of climate change basically become permanent. That came out in October of 2018. We're now in January of 2022. And we've literally done nothing as a country in that span of time. And I know a lot of people want to say, but Biden's got... No, listen. One man for the next 2-3 years, in fact, it's really only the next 1 year because Republicans win midterms, nothing's going to happen. But one man doing one thing in one country is not going to do anything to solve this problem. This is a global problem, and it is time to act. We have to look past all these empty promises and force the action ourselves. And it really sucks that we have to be the ones to do it. You know, most of the climate change, or most of the emissions, are not coming from average everyday people, okay? You driving your car to work, sure, there are emissions that come from that, but you're not the cause of global warming. So one person switching to an electric vehicle here and you charge it at your house, but then you realize, oh no, the electricity from my house comes from a coal-fired power plant, and I'm using more of that now. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we have to have fundamental industrial change, or else even the small changes that you make in your life have no impact because they're just increasing somewhere else. You're switching burning gasoline to burning more coal. It's a good thing to do, though. Don't get me wrong. Do what you can, but we have to force those in power. We have to force the corporations. We have to have something big happen to make them change because they're the ones responsible for most of this. And if they take action, then all of our smaller actions do add up and they do make a difference. There is still plenty of time to act. Plenty. But that clock is ticking, and we're doing nothing to wind it backwards.
This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.